Once again, it's our Ho 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 Christmas special again.
Hody ho, it's time for the horror guys.
Ho Ho Horror Guys.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Brian.
We're going to talk about Christmas horror movies.
Once again, this is our third week in a row.
And
with at least one more to go.
There's so many more Christmas movies.
It's an unending pile of dreadful Christmas cheer.
They keep making more. Some of them are dreadful, some are quite good.
A lot of them seem to tend toward the horror comedy kind of side of things.
Yeah, they do.
Not all of them.
And
we got a mix this week of both.
It's a surprising number of decapitations. Should have kept track of how many decapitations.
Yeah. It seems like every weekend we watch three decapitations in these Christmas shows.
There goes somebody's head. Yep.
What were we watching yesterday where we had one that was unexpected?
Decapitations are funny. That wasn't yesterday.
Day before.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically which one
it was. It was not the kind of movie where you expected anybody to get decapitated.
And yet, there it was.
There it was.
Yeah.
Well, this time out, we've got 5 more holiday-themed scare classics. We'll open up on the hilariously low-budget, yet somehow still awesome, Cadaver Christmas from 2011. I had never heard of this one before this week.
I never had either.
And it is amazing.
But it was pretty awesome, yeah.
Then we'll have a fancy dinner with the family in Mercy Christmas from 2017. Do you have ever gone on a Mercy date? This is a Mercy Christmas.
This is Mercy Christmas. The whole holiday is.
And then we'll stop and go Black Friday shopping from 2021's movie Black Friday. We'll travel to France to get a strange German gift in the Advent calendar from 2021. And lastly, we'll do an old classic, the 1951 version of A Christmas Carol.
I'd never seen this version before.
A.K.A. Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people consider this to be the best version, the definitive Scrooge.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but it was good.
It was good, yeah.
And, of course, stick around at the end where we will have 5 short films for you, some of which are also holiday-related.
Mm-hmm. We got a mix.
Don't forget to check out Horror Monthly, which is on sale now. It's got 43 reviews this time and a short story. Issue number 39. You can pick that one up at horrormonthly.com. Paperback, ebook, however you like to read your horror.
Wherever fine books are sold.
Yeah, even where the not fine books are sold. Mm-hmm. You can get them everywhere. But we'll start off. What are we going to start off with?
We should start out with a Cadaver Christmas.
2011's Cadaver Christmas, directed by Joe Zarule, written by Daniel Reardon Hale, Hanlon Smith Dorsey, and Joe Zarule. Stars Daniel Reardon Hale, Hanlon Smith Dorset, and Yoshi Hayashi. Run 1 hour, 25 minutes. Yeah, this is kind of maybe a little more obscure, so if you haven't seen it, check out that trailer in the show notes.
This one had body parts flying everywhere.
But I can tell you the trailer makes it look cheap and low budget and crappy.
Yeah.
And it is.
It is.
But it's amazing at it.
Yeah. It embraces the grindhouse look. Like with goofiness and over-the-top acting, and it works really well. The script is well written. It's gory and funny. And a ride that's pretty continuously wild.
This is the best worst movie we saw this week.
Yeah,
The best bad movie.
Best worst movie, yeah. We really like this one.
Yes,
yeah.
we did.
Yeah, you got to see this one.
The news report complains that it's going to rain on Christmas. There's no white Christmas this year. Well, the guy at the bar, Tom, gets all teary-eyed at a cartoon about hippos. He loves those hippos. Then a janitor comes in, covered in blood, and asks to use the bathroom. Eddie, the bartender, calls Sam, the sheriff, about the man in the bathroom. Why is he covered in blood?
Well, we find out.
The man then comes out of the bathroom and explains that he's the janitor at the university. As he was cleaning, he noticed blood spots on the floor, which he followed. He was soon attacked by zombies. He calls them cadavers.
Yeah.
Sam comes in and yells that there's a bunch of cadavers in the parking lot going crazy.
And that's a running joke when any time anybody tries to refer to them as zombies.
No, they're cadavers.
They're cadavers, yeah.
And that's when the credits roll.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the 4 men go out into the parking lot and fight zombies with a snow shovel.
Cadavers.
Sam seems to think the janitor is responsible for all this. Sam, the sheriff, has a perp in the backseat, arrested for having sex with a goat, which is also sort of an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 men drive to the university, and the janitor does a flashback about calling the police. They are not helpful with 911 there, are they?
Well, this was the one where he calls, if you call 911 on the campus,
It rings
it goes
the
to
campus
an
security.
office.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And if nobody's at that office, well, the call doesn't go through the actual police.
Well, the group gets to the university, but the cadavers are all gone, even the ones the janitor already killed. Sam admits that he's not really a cop anymore, and we get another flashback to when he admits to killing his partner, Carol, a canine. Well, the perp wanders off and finds a corpse that he likes. Better than a goat, I suppose.
Is it, though? Because it's nasty.
He leans in and kisses it. The burned-up corpse is much prettier than Betsy the goat. He soon gets down to business, oh my, as
Yeah.
Tom goes off to take a dump. The janitor changes his uniform and gears up for battle. The perp's dead friend comes to life, but the janitor is there to kill it again. Eddie and Tom run into the zombies, and Eddie gets bitten. The perp knows the rules of zombies and says that Eddie's gonna turn. The janitor then tells everything that led up to this, including Professor Hildencrest's disappearance. The group encounters Kristen, the head of security, and she refuses to call 911 for real, but does join their group. And it's this group against the cadavers.
Cadavers, yeah.
All right, well, anyway, skipping to the bottom here. This is how you make a low-budget film, with questionable actors. None of these people are particularly good.
Oh, they get
Or maybe they are that good.
They get the job done, yeah.
You lean
Yeah.
into the ridiculousness with this one. The gritty grindhouse look of the film nicely covers what might be poor cinematography, or maybe it's all intentional. The funny characters and goofy overacting make it all worthwhile, and the actually very good script bumps it all up. No one seemed to be taking this one seriously, and that's the best part. While we were watching it, Kevin said, they're doing bad, right?
Yeah, it was so entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would highly recommend this one.
Like I said in the beginning there, the movies tend to either go for Christmas scary or comedy scary. Christmas, what am I saying? I got
Serious?
distracted by the lady in the tube there.
Serious or funny.
Yeah, and this is my favorite of the funny ones this week.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another funny one, which is not my favorite, 2017's Mercy Christmas. Directed by Ryan Nelson, written by Beth Levy Nelson and Ryan Nelson, stars Stephen Hubel, Cole Gleason, and Whitney Nelson. Hour and 23 minutes. Trailer in the show notes.
There seems to be a Nelson connection here.
Seems to be.
Yeah.
Well, this is about a super nice and super passive guy that has the worst Christmas ever when he falls victim to a family of cannibals. It's loaded with dark humor and some over-the-top violence, so there's some good stuff there. But its main weakness is a stretch through the middle where things bog down a bit. It's got a heck of a climax, though. We give it a moderate thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. So should I give him a little taste?
Give it a little taste.
Michael Brisket invites his boss to a Christmas party. The boss turns him down, but assigns him a bunch of reports he needs done by Christmas. The boss's new assistant, Cindy, drops off huge piles of reports for him to sort through.
He's a numbers guy.
Yeah. Well, Catherine, a grouchy bartender, says she doesn't do Christmas. And then someone kills her. Someone kills an old man and a ticket scalper. The killer loads the bodies into the back of his truck.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, meanwhile, Cindy comes to Michael's Christmas party. She's the only one who shows up. Well, Michael really loves Christmas, but no one seems to really love Michael. So it's kind of an awkward party with just
the two of them?
Yeah. But they do have a nice conversation and end up having a nice-looking evening. And they get along fine, and she invites him to her family's Christmas party tomorrow night.
She feels sorry for him, so that she invites him to a mercy Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Cindy picks up Michael, and they get to her parents' house. Philip, her ex, is there, too, invited by Cindy's father.
Pleasing no one but the father.
Yeah. Well, they all sit down to eat ribs, and Michael chows down. Those ribs are delicious. And then they all drink an eggnog toast to home cooking. Just before Andy, who's Michael's boss, shows up. He's Cindy's brother.
Oh.
Yeah, well, then Michael passes out because he's been drugged.
Oh.
I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Michael soon wakes up tied and bound in a dark room. And there are others tied up there, too. the old man, the bartender, and the ticket scalper that we saw there earlier. Not killed, only kidnapped. Bart comes in and does kill the old man before dismembering him with an electric knife. Well, Andrew says they have a problem. Michael is now part of their dinner, but he needs those reports done by tomorrow. So he drags Michael out and tells him to get to work with electroshock torture.
He's wrapped up in Christmas lights with a loose end on the Christmas bulb, so every time the lights blink, he gets zapped.
Mm-hmm, yeah. None of the family thinks there's anything weird about this. Granny comes in. She wants everyone to stop and go to church.
All right, that's probably a good place to stop right there.
Yeah.
This is just a weird story.
It's a weird
with
family.
Weird characters.
Weird characters. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, Michael is pathetic and naive, but he's very nice. He's extremely passive and wimpy. I'd eat him.
Tender.
Yeah, he looks like a big Christmas turkey. Well, the comedy here is mostly based around how twisted this normal-looking, normal-acting family can get. That, and lots of food jokes. The problem here is that it's all pretty slow-paced in the middle. Michael is not a particularly likable character. He's just too much of a wimp, crossing the line into caricature.
Yeah, somewhat.
I think most people would have fought back long before Michael does.
He really puts up with a lot. But when he does finally fight back, boy, he does. Yeah. I thought it was pretty good all around. I mean, he might be a little messed up after going through all that. Do you think he's going to still love Christmas as much as he did at the beginning of the movie?
He may not be such a big fan of Christmas turkey or Christmas ham. He doesn't want special dishes, ribs.
Yeah, basically a movie about the worst Christmas ever inflicted on a true lover of Christmas.
But only thing worse than a Mercy Christmas is Black Friday.
Black Friday.
2021 Black Friday, directed by Cassette Thibault, written by Andy Greskoviak. That rolls off the tongue.
It does.
Stars Devon Sawa, Ivana Baquero, Ryan Lee, and Bruce Campbell. Hour and 24 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. It's not exactly a Christmas story. It's more of a...
Work in retail before Christmas.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Being stuck working at a bad retail job on Black Friday that starts on Thanksgiving is bad enough. But then you add in some alien-spawned zombie invasions, and it just gets worse. This one is all around good with a strong cast, entertaining story, and excellent special effects. Got a lot of humor mixed in with the horror. So that's another one we'd recommend.
This one definitely leans more into the horror, the comedy than the horror.
Yes,
it's
very
It's
heavy.
goofy.
Yeah, it is. Bruce Campbell playing it up, and yeah.
Some men are in the store on Thanksgiving, putting up banners and decorations for Black Friday, and there are already people waiting outside. There's a crash, and Monty finds a pulsating blob on the floor. It opens up like a facehugger egg, and bad things happen before the credits even roll.
Before the credits even.
Ken takes the two kids to drop them off at their mom's house. They don't like mom's new boyfriend. Ken explains that heroes work on the holidays, and heads to pick up Chris, who leads his family and heads to work too. Although mom's new boyfriend does not work on the holidays, so he's no hero.
He's no hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about how depressing it is to leave their families for this crap. At the We Love Toys store, the shoppers are lined up around the building, and some complain that they don't feel well. Ken flirts with Marnie as the radio talks about tonight's meteor shower. Corporate has said that calling it Black Friday is racist, so now Anita wants it all to call it Green Friday instead, because that's when the green rolls in.
Mm-hmm.
She also threatens to write up Chris for not having his shirt tucked in. She's one of those kind of
She's
HR
that
people.
kind of person, yeah.
Lou, the truck driver, enters, needing to use the bathrooms for an emergency. Jonathan, the manager, gives them all a pep talk over the intercom. Also, there will be no paid breaks tonight, and the crew is unenthusiastic at best. Yay, team! Let's sell, let's sell, let's sell! Oh, no breaks tonight. No bonuses tonight.
This is a crew that's mostly going to work as hard as they're paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Emmett is Ken's new shadow, and he's never worked retail before. He's so enthusiastic and uppity and jumping up and down and thrilled and enthusiastic, and yeah, he hasn't worked retail before.
He hasn't, yeah.
Well, Brian, the assistant manager, opens the doors and the mob pours in, and it's insane. Chris finds sticky snot all over his cash register, and Marnie notices that some of the customers look a little off.
It's one of those that's the golden age of Black Friday, where they just open the doors and let it rip.
Yep.
And the mob comes in.
Some of them are clearly clearly off, and they're not even sick. Brian tells Chris to clean up a pile of barf on the floor, but it's not normal-looking barf. What was that, anyway?
Ew.
Well, the sick man then attacks Chris, and the maintenance man, Archie, gets involved. Brian and Anita zip-tie Chris to a chair. This is a citizen's arrest. Jonathan wants to know what's going on, and another of the mutant zombie customers attacks Emmett, but Ken rescues him. Ken wants to know what's wrong, but Jonathan says it's just normal green Friday. Brian calls the police and gets sent to voicemail.
Uh-oh.
Seems to be a running gag this week.
That's not a good thing when that happens.
As Anita and Ken argue, Emmett starts convulsing, and something inside him kills Anita as everyone watches.
Oh, so there is something going on.
Jonathan calls Schomburg, the manager of another store, and her store has been overrun by mutant customers. Jonathan swears it's all going to blow over. Then Anita gets up and runs them all out of the back room. The group splits up to assess the situation, and they all run into trouble. There are body parts everywhere, but the shoppers seem to be building something. Lou attacks Ken and Jonathan finally does something. Then Jonathan lets it slip there's not going to be any holiday bonuses this year, and there are going to be layoffs to follow. Everyone quits on the spot. Doesn't matter, they can't leave because they're surrounded by zombies.
Might as well, you're not selling much anyway. Yeah.
The police arrive, but they drive through the window, which releases the horde outside that wants inside for some reason. Probably a good place to stop.
So it's retail versus zombies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good video game.
With an alien bent to it. It's like an alien invasion.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, all the way back to Dawn of the Dead, zombies have always been about consumerism. This one isn't even subtle about it.
Oh, not at all.
It picks on all the retail and corporate jokes and tropes, especially with the Black Friday stuff. The characters are all realistic types, from the suck-up assistant manager and employee of the month to the old-timers who don't really do anything. We've all worked with these characters before.
I've worked retail. I recognized all these people.
And Bruce Campbell is Jonathan. He kept reminding me of John Cleese.
Yeah, a little
He's starting
bit.
to resemble him a lot.
Uh-huh. He's aging into a John Cleese, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, anyway, the acting for all these stereotypical characters is just fine. The monitor effects and makeup are great, and the overall concept is fun. It's pretty decent. Also, I really want a Dower Dennis toy.
It was like a robot.
A very depressed teddy bear.
Yeah.
They announced early on that they was having a recall on it.
Teddy Ruxpin was...
Oh, it's a rough day.
Yeah.
I hate Tuesdays. Yeah, he's a fun doll.
I thought this was unique enough of a zombie tale with the space alien element to make it interesting. I mean, because zombies have been done 1,000 times, but
these aren't exactly
they aren't
exactly
this
time.
Yeah, there is some differences. The casting was great, and like you said, the effects are really good. I had a fun time watching this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, so we said earlier Cadaver Christmas was my favorite comedy horror of the week. This next one is my favorite scary horror of the week.
This is my favorite of the week, period.
And it is mine, too. Yeah, it
number
is the
one.
best of the week. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard much about it either.
I hadn't either, and it's from 2021.
The Advent Calendar 2021. This is a French movie, so it may be new over here.
Oh, that
It's a
could
little
be.
hard to tell with foreign films sometimes.
Yeah.
Written and directed by Patrick Reidmont, stars Eugenie Derouin, Honorine Magnier, and Clement Olivieri. Hour and 44 minutes. Trailer in the show notes.
Spoiler free, do you want me to tell them a little taste?
Tell us a little bit.
Well, not long into it, we get the picture that the Advent calendar isn't just a benign magic object. It's a trope that wishes can have consequences. This has kind of been done before in movies. This one spices it up to make it very interesting. It's really well done. It's like a real Advent calendar. The fun is seeing what the next little gift is going to be as the big finish approaches. We both liked it.
This
But,
seemed
but
like
I think I liked it better than you. You kind of rated it as good at the time, and I thought it was great.
no. The more I thought about it, the better it got.
Okay.
I thought in the middle it kind of dragged a little bit as she kept going one day and one candy to the next.
But that was the
But
point of it.
that was building up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed a little slow, but there's a payoff.
It builds one day at a time, yeah. And she can't open them early. So there's
No.
there's no cheating. So it unfolds whether she wants it to or not. You know.
Well, a guy flirts with Ava at the pool, and we soon see that she's in a wheelchair. Then we cut to her recording herself, maybe standing up, as she warns us to follow the rules or die. Credits roll.
And what's that about?
None of that made any sense.
Well, we find out.
Ava goes home and puts out some dinner for her dog. Eventually, she climbs into her dark, dank, dingy bedroom and has a flashback to the traffic accident that put her in the chair. It's December 3rd. Well, her boss doesn't like her, says she costs too much to keep her around, but he doesn't have a lot of choices. She calls her father, but he's got too much dementia to even remember who she is, and her stepmother is on the wicked side.
Boy, blatantly.
You can tell by the hair.
The wicked stepmother, yeah.
Her friend Sophia stops in, and she's very upbeat. She's brought a present from Germany, a big fancy advent calendar.
And I thought it was really nice, such a contrast when Sophia comes in. She is such a breath of fresh air, because this girl is not having a good time, a good life, a good, it's just dreary, and she's, things are not going good. And
Sophia
she's
has a good
sad.
time everywhere.
And Sophia just breezes in, and the mood changes completely.
On the back of the calendar, it says, "Dump it and I'll kill you," which they both find to be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
When Ava opens the first door, she pulls out a chocolate. We also see something somewhere waking up. The wrapper is printed with a warning. The calendar contains candy. If you eat one, eat them all, or I'll kill you. Germans are grim, Sophia says.
Yeah.
Since it's the 3rd of the month, she opens up the first 3 compartments. To kill hurt, kill what hurt you, says the 3rd day's note. And she tries to open the 4th door, but it won't open. Huh. Well, at midnight, the box calls for her to open the 4th door. It's got this little, wooden head that pops out of the top. I don't know what it says. It's in German, but it says, come and eat your candy or something.
Well, it says it in English, though.
Does it? Okay. Funny, because it's a French movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
Well, okay.
There's German, there's French, and, they kind of English it for us.
Yeah.
Because we're
it's a complicated movie.
English viewers, yeah.
Well, this time the candy wrapper has something biblical in it about cripples being able to walk, which they both find a little offensive. She doesn't eat that one. Later, when she eats a piece of her father's favorite candy on the 5th, she gets a phone call from him on a phone that's been disconnected.
But it's definitely his voice.
And this is where she gets tipped off that there's a little bit of magic going on.
Mm-hmm.
At work, Ava is told to train her replacement by John, her boss, who's also cutting her hours. Sophia wonders if the calendar had hallucinogenic candy in it to make it seem that Ava's father had called the previous night. She doesn't know much since she stole the box. So Sophia didn't actually buy this candy. Sophia then takes Boris out to a bar.
It came with the candy in it. Huh.
Yeah.
How about that? So how did that happen?
Sophia takes Ava out to a bar with Boris and Thomas. Thomas is nice, but Boris is a bit of a jerk. Ava likes Thomas, but Sophia steals him away at the last minute. Ava passes out on the way home, and Boris takes advantage of her. When she reacts badly, he literally dumps her out on the street. The creature in the box pops up. And when she yells, "Drop dead," a little car rolls out of the advent calendar.
All by itself.
As her dog plays with the toy car, bad things happen to the real car.
Voodoo car.
Voodoo car, yes.
Uh-huh.
The next day, Ava hears about Boris's death and remembered what she yelled. Not only did Boris send her a text after he died, but he left her some money. At midnight, the box wants more attention. This time, it's a candy heart.
Yeah, the way she gets money, too, it's an app that's an investment app. And she gets a hint about how to invest the money, too.
And it works out really well.
And it works out really well. So the box is giving her things. It's giving money. And the candy heart plays in as a love potion. And
The business with her losing her job doesn't really
And-
work out that way either.
And there was some hints of, healing the cripples. And,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, is she going to get healed? And, how, what is this box doing for her? But what does it want in return? That's the problem. Yeah.
Well, okay, wrapping it up here at the end, Ava has had a rough year, and we want her to get better, even when the box does bad things to bad people. Still, we know things are going to escalate and get out of hand, because that's the kind of movie that this is.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know how it was going to end until it did. On the first watch, I didn't quite understand the whole trick at the end that was thrown in kind of at the last moment.
Well, they explain it.
They
at
do
the
explain
end.
it, yeah.
You get hints of it as it goes along.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah. But they do. Everything does wrap up nicely.
It does
at the
eventually make sense. Yeah, it was very good, yeah.
end. Yeah. I thought she really nailed the role of Eva.
Uh-huh.
Complex individual. I mean, the gifts that she's getting are, it's both wonderful and horrible.
It's just candy, right?
Right. What could go wrong? Yeah. And what is decisions? The decisions she has to make as it goes along too. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, at one point I gave the dog a dog biscuit. I thought that was going to go very badly for the dog. That was not the case.
No, that was not the
not
case.
a bit.
Yeah.
1951's A Christmas Carol. I can't say it today. Carol does not want to come out of my mouth.
Christmas Carol.
Yes. A Christmas Carol, a.k.a. Scrooge. Directed by Brian Desmond Hurst, written by Charles Dickens and Noel Langley, stars Alastair Sim, Jack Warner, and Kathleen Harrison. Hour and 26 minutes, black and white. And I believe you can watch the entirety of this one. There's a link in the show notes to take you to YouTube where you can watch this whole thing. And it looks pretty sharp for 1951. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay. It was an okay version. Yeah.
This was a solid rendition of the story. Alastair Sim as Scrooge was believable in the role, and the rest of the cast was very good as well. The special effects are minimal and limited to 1951 technology, but they get the job done. Some double exposed things here and there. It's not exactly horror in the scary sense, unless you're Scrooge, of course, but it is a ghost story, with 4 main ghosts and a flock of others seen briefly. If you're looking for a version to see, there are more than 100 of them out there.
Yeah, I was surprised how many there are.
Every show has done one.
Plus the minor, episodes and spoofs and things that are out there.
WKRP did a Scrooge episode.
Yeah, no, this is just over 100 movies.
Movies, yes.
Yeah, movies, yeah.
So this is a very good one and thought of by many as the definitive version.
I remember the $6 Million Man did an episode of Christmas Carol.
It's a very popular public domain story.
Yeah.
All right, well, what happens?
Well, we hear that old Marley was dead for 7 years. His partner, Mr. Scrooge, runs the business. It's Christmas, but Scrooge says that's humbug and leaves. Outside, a man asks for more time to pay back the money Scrooge loaned him. On the walk to his office, he runs off some children singing Christmas carols. And the guy doesn't get any leeway from Scrooge or any charity. Charity man, in fact, comes to the office wanting money for the poor, but Scrooge says they should just send the poor to the workhouse or prison. Bah humbug! He refuses to donate anything to charity. So he's tight. He's grumpy. Scrooge's nephew Fred comes in and wishes his uncle a Merry Christmas. Scrooge doesn't approve of his nephew's wife, but he is invited to dinner anyway. Fred is nice, and he wishes the Cratchit family a Merry Christmas on the way out. Bob Cratchit is Scrooge's underpaid clerk. And at home, we cut to Tim Cratchit and his mother in a town. They've gone to buy a goose. Tim walks with a crutch. She complains that Bob's boss makes him work so late on Christmas Eve. If Scrooge had his way, they'd all work through Christmas.
Tim Cratchit, am I right?
Tim Cratchit. Yeah. Yeah, Tiny Tim. Well, on the way home, Scrooge sees dead Marley's face in the door knocker, but he goes inside anyway. He's kind of creeped out, but he locks the door and sits with his bowl of gruel in front of the fireplace. Well, he starts to hear scary noises before he sees the ghost of Jacob Marley, his old co-worker. He drags around heavy boxes that are chained to him. Scrooge thinks he might just have indigestion or something. He's hallucinating this. But Marley insists that he's real, he's here, and he explains that he wears the chains that he's forged in life. He made his own curse, because he was selfish and greedy too. He also points out that it's not too late for Scrooge to turn his life around and avoid the same fate, and that he will be visited by 3 spirits tonight.
All right, and at this point, Scrooge is looking pretty doggone terrified, because this is not just a bit of indigestion.
He played it really well.
Yeah, but maybe he played it a little too well. At this point, I think if there had been no more, Scrooge probably still would have turned around and become a good guy.
He might have.
He was really looking pretty terrified here.
Well, these 3 spirits that visit him really nail it home, though.
Yeah. But I think that was maybe it's the best acting of the movie, but it's also maybe the weakness of the movie, because all the time he seemed very knowledgeable about what he was doing wrong. I'm cheap, I'm miserly, I don't like Christmas, I don't help the poor. He knows this, and he's ashamed of it. And it seems like he's willing, maybe a little too early, to give it up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think the most of the versions, until he sees his own death later on, he's not really convinced.
That really nails it home.
I think this version, he was convinced pretty early on. And the rest didn't actually seem necessary.
Then he gets even more convinced.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's well acted for sure, but the special effects are a bit iffy. Still, that's not the point of the story. And this is widely regarded as the best version of the Dickens story, and it is very good. It's black and white, however, but I bet you could find a colored version if you looked for it.
Maybe.
I bet they're out there. The story is fairly close to the book, as far as I can remember. I have read the book, and there's not a lot of fluff here. They seem to spend maybe a little bit more time on the ghost of Christmas past, seeing as where Scrooge got all his money. They cheated out this business owner, and Scrooge Marley took over his business. And, okay, well, I guess that tells us stuff.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Gives us the background. Yeah.
All right.
If you're in the mood for a interesting Christmas parable, this is a good one.
Because nobody knows this story. All right, well, let's go on to our short films. And we'll start off with one from 2019 called Special Day. Directed by Teal Greyhavens. You think that's a real name?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
Written by Nikolai von Keller. Stars Maya Bowman, Laura Wernette, and Caesar James. A little over 7 minutes, and it is on YouTube. What happens?
I think I'm going to go with this one as the favorite of my favorite of the shorts. It's Emily's special day. It's her birthday. And her extended family, they all make a huge deal about it. You're a woman now. We're all so proud of you. Well, her dad and everybody's there. Everyone in her family has either been successful or goes insane, her sister mentions.
What?
Yeah. Her sister's kind of snide about it, but Dad attributes their success to a special gift that she's finally old enough to share. She was born at 9:03 p.m., and at the same time tonight, she hears it outside. There's a man outside now that she can see. Only it's not quite a man. It's kind of ghoulish looking. And she's told it's not a man, just think of it as a new friend.
And yes, I agree with you. I think this is my favorite of the shorts this week also. It's just an interesting concept, and it's very well made.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why the family couldn't have let Emily in on the secret ahead of time. I mean, they waited till 9:03 to tell her about this, and that's got to be pretty freaking shocking.
It would be. Yeah, but maybe it has to be that way. Yeah.
Still, she wouldn't have been able to see the man until now, but she'd have been way less freaked out, maybe even eager if she'd known what to expect.
Yeah, once you reach age, your companion or whatever it is appears to you and follows you for the rest of your life.
We know what it is, but we don't get to spoil it.
Yeah.
Once we heard the rules of the Sentinel, it was pretty obvious where this was going to go. It's short, it's simple, and it's really well done. There's not much more to the story that we could logically ask for, but yeah, I'd kind of like to see more of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Very cool.
There's other ways the story could have gone. Different stories with maybe different family members or something. But yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
And now our holiday short film called He Sees You, a winter solstice horror. Written and directed by Zachary Paget, starring Zachary Paget. 6 minutes, 23 seconds, and you watch it in YouTube.
It's a one-man show.
Well, a couple weeks ago we did Shut the Door at 10:04. Same guy.
Yeah.
So I think he's in our feed now for some reason.
He does good work.
What happens?
Well, a man is working on making dinner alone at home. We watch him through the window from a very well-lit patio. He soon goes upstairs and watches a video about the history of Christmas, Saturnalia, and Yule. Except suddenly the lights go out. Well, he checks the lamp, and the bulb has been removed.
What? It's not a power outage.
No. He goes into the kitchen, and the bulbs have been removed there as well.
And I was thinking at the time, the way you know this is a low-budget movie, because you can see the clock there on the oven is still blinking. The power is on, obviously.
The power was on.
But no, the bulbs have all been removed.
The bulbs were taken, yeah. And the patio has gone. The patio had this string of like Edison old-style bulbs. Those are all gone. Well, fortunately, he finds a bulb in a drawer and plugs it in, screws it in, turns on the light.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, there's a reason. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what the connection of the Yule video has with the monster, but it was included for some reason, so I guess it's a monster from history. There's mention in there, I guess, about fires for protection or something.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that this whole Christmas Yule thing goes back to ancient times.
Yeah.
When there's been monsters way back. Yeah.
Well, the camera work here is good, especially since much of the film is dark, and the quiet music and sound effects add a lot to the mystery of the story. Don't think I quite understood the lore part of the story, but it's well done.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. Yeah.
What's next?
It's this one was really surreal. It's The Naughty Bells of Holy Hells, directed by the Helmers. Stars George Sternlicht, Ari Sternlicht, David Sternlicht, and Peter Sternlicht.
I suspect the Sternlichts
The
are the Helmers.
There seems to be some Sternlichts here. What happened?
Well, a man brutally murders a snowman and then stomps on the presents. This guy does not like Christmas or something.
Mm-hmm.
He then takes one of those bell-ringing guys and beats him to death. Then we cut away to see two men in stocks, like in, medieval times.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of them who's wearing a sign around his neck that says gossip, and the other one says sinner. And they're both wearing weird masks. One's a pig and one's sort of like a jester.
They are cool masks.
They are cool masks.
Uh-huh.
But there's a politician also, and he gets an even worse fate. The gossip, one of the guys in the stocks, starts to torment the sinner in the other stock in the only way he can in the current situation.
That's one of them. Yeah.
Well, the torturer eventually comes over and releases the sinner. What's he going to do for revenge?
Time for revenge. Yeah.
Not the bells.
The bells.
The bells. No, not the bells. This guy specifically does not like bells.
Yeah, don't jingle. Yeah.
The naughty bells of Holy Hells. Yes.
Yeah.
It's well filmed and shot in an interesting way. It's kind of nonsensical and surreal. We don't really know why any of this is happening, but only one of this group is having any fun. And I gotta point out that the credits at the end of the movie is the hardest to read font I have ever seen. I think maybe there was a director and writer for this, but I just couldn't make it out.
And I see what you mean by that, yeah.
You agreed with me, didn't you?
I agreed, yeah.
Oh, and there is a very brief little scene after the credits.
Yeah, I gotta watch that, too.
Stick to the end.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that one was a hoot.
What's next?
Next up is The Goat Monster versus Fat Werewolf.
What?
Yeah, I said that right. The Goat Monster versus Fat Werewolf.
Written and directed by Shortest Blockbusters and stars, it's animated. 5 minutes exactly, and it's on YouTube.
Now, this didn't seem like AI.
But it kind of did also.
But
it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not.
It's not, because AI segments fall apart when they're that long.
Yes.
And, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the goat man admires his pregnant wife's belly as their child roams around nearby. They all soon see that there's a giant spider out in the woods stalking them. But if that wasn't bad enough, there's a huge werewolf who's also hunting them. The goat man is smart and starts a forest fire before fighting back. And the various monsters fight to the death, and it's all very dramatic.
Yeah, the first scene immediately made me think this was done by AI.
They're all kind of standing in the woods, and nobody's moving, and there's like these flies jiggling around them that made it look kind of like poorly done AI animation.
But then you start to doubt that as you see it.
But then it's not, yeah.
Because the characters are all consistent through the action scenes.
Yeah, the characters are consistent, and there's a logical plot going on throughout the whole story. I think it's probably regular computer-generated animation without the AI stuff that we both trash so heavily. It looks good. The creature designs are excellent. There's even an emotional component to it. It's all very sharp. I especially like that scene in the rain at the end.
That was some cool animation.
It's like the water was on a, what do you call that, a shield over the camera or something, like looking out a window. It was a neat little thing for animation.
Yeah, double layered, yeah.
Okay, I liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. And I really don't want to know that this was AI. Because I don't know, unless it's really improved a whole lot in the past few weeks.
Well, then we come to our final one.
The Unseen, written and directed by Xander Ross, stars Sophie Stewart, Teddy Jones, and Joseph Hunt. Little under 6 minutes, and it's a YouTube also. Well, a student researches the Angel of Death at the library. She wraps that up, and then walks home across campus. Even before she leaves, we see that she's not alone, but a little later on the way home, she spots a dark man in a plague doctor's outfit who's following her.
Could that be the Angel of Death?
Could be. Suddenly, he's in front of her, and he wants to show her a magic trick.
Oh, isn't that nice?
What, it all looks and sounds good with nice pacing. The creature looks cool without even needing any special effects.
That's a really cool mask.
It is. The girl, I want to wear that to Christmas.
Yeah.
Nobody would notice. The girl looks suitably terrified and confused in every scene. We aren't quite sure why this is all happening, but it's fun seeing how it works out.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we're all out of movies.
No, we'll have to watch more now.
We will. And of course, we didn't spoil any of these because we don't do that anymore. But if you want to read the full spoilery synopsis on these, go over to horrorweekly.com. You don't have to sign up for that free weekly email newsletter, but you can read it right there on the site. And if you'd like to get next week's and all the weeks in your email box, you can sign up right there at horrorweekly.com. It's completely free. No strings, no catch, one email a week. You can, of course, give us some money, and we'll give you a bonus episode with 5 or 6 other 5 or 6 movies in it every month.
Nice.
It's our bonus podcast, which is only available to the paid subscribers. But you don't have to be paid to get all this good stuff in your email box. But that's it for this week. Next week, we will have more holiday horror for you. It never ends.
Well, it will eventually.
The reason for the season is the screams.
And the decapitations.
And many decapitations, yes. All right, I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
We'll see you
next week.
Yeah.
See ya.